A judge just dropped a massive bomb on Joe Gibbs Racing, and this is no longer just a NASCAR story. This is becoming a full-blown legal war, because one crew chief move may have turned into one of the ugliest courtroom fights NASCAR has seen in years. And now a federal judge just made a decision that nobody at Joe Gibbs Racing wanted to hear. Here's what happened. On May 6th, U.S. District Court Judge Susan Rodriguez officially set the trial date in the explosive lawsuit involving Joe Gibbs Racing, Chris Gabehart, and Spire Motorsports. The trial, January 2027. And trust me, that date changes everything, because JGR wanted this case handled fast. They pushed for November 2026. A quick trial. Get in, get out, move on. Why? Because according to Joe Gibbs, racing damage is happening. Right now, every single week that passes, they believe Spire Motorsports keeps benefiting from information that should never have left JGR. But Spire Motorsports and Chris Gabehart wanted the exact opposite. They tried to delay the trial all the way to May 2027. Their argument, too much courtroom work during racing season would hurt the team. And honestly, that statement alone tells you how serious this situation has become, because Spire is suddenly winning. That's the part making everybody uncomfortable. Last season, Spire looked average. Now suddenly Carson Hulkevar wins at Talladega. The team is running near the front consistently, and NASCAR insiders are starting to whisper. Then comes the accusation that changed everything. Joe Gibbs Racing claims Gabehart took sensitive team information before leaving the organization. Not just random notes, trade secrets, setups, competition, data internal systems. According to court filings, JGR says Gabehart synced files to a personal Google Drive folder, literally labeled Spire. That's where this story stops feeling normal, because Chris Gabehart wasn't just another employee. He spent 13 years inside Joe Gibbs, racing crew chief, for Denny Hamlin, director of competition, one of the most trusted people inside the entire organization. He knew everything, and then in February 2026, he leaves for Spire Motorsports. Instantly, Joe Gibbs Racing files an $8 million lawsuit, and the language they used was brutal. JGR accused Gabehart of participating in what they called a brazen scheme to steal confidential information. That is an insane accusation in NASCAR. But Gabehart fired right back. He says this lawsuit is not about trade secrets. According to him, this is about Joe Gibbs Racing trying to punish someone for leaving, and then Gabehart took things even further. He publicly described JGR as dysfunctional behind the scenes, saying family involvement and internal structure made normal competition decisions difficult. That comment definitely got people inside NASCAR talking, but wait until you hear this part. Because the judge already made another huge ruling earlier in the case. Chris Gabehart can continue working for Spire Motorsports, but he is banned from performing duties that overlap with his old role at Joe Gibbs Racing. That's massive. At the same time, the judge refused to punish Spire Motorsports itself. And that was a huge loss for JGR, because the court basically said hiring someone from another race team is not automatically illegal. Then things got even messier. JGR pushed for phone records, text messages, communication logs, and Gabehart admitted he deleted an unknown number of texts with Spire co-owner Jeff Dickerson right after leaving Joe Gibbs Racing. Now suddenly fans are asking the obvious question, what exactly was in those messages? JGR wants answers badly, especially because they believe Spire's sudden performance jump is connected to Gabehart arriving at the organization. That's why this lawsuit has become so explosive. This is no longer just about one employee changing teams. This is about whether NASCAR secrets were taken from one organization and used to help another team win races. And trust me, the garage is watching all of this, because if Joe Gibbs Racing wins, it could completely change how teams hire executives in NASCAR moving forward. But if Spire wins, it sends a message that teams can aggressively recruit top talent without fear. Either way, this case is going to shake NASCAR. And now, with the trial officially set for January 2027, the pressure is only getting bigger. More subpoenas, more phone records, more sworn testimony, and probably a lot more drama. Because what started as a simple crew chief move has now turned into one of the biggest legal battles the sport has seen in years.